Sup everybody, it is Shane here at Waiting to be Seen, and I want to welcome you to my channel. I'm so thrilled that you're here. As a matter of fact, I'm so thrilled that I'm going to be sharing another 10 fantastic Premiere Pro tips. And you might be thinking, well Shane, what's that got to do with being thrilled? Well, it's because you're here that I'm going to be talking about 10 tips I haven't shared before. Come on, that should make you feel a little bit special. Stick around.
This is how we do it.
If you have followed my channel over the past year, then you might have seen my other top tip videos that I've made for using Premiere Pro. Well, today's video is covering material that I have not touched on before. So while you're here, why not check out those videos as well and really get your Premiere workflow cranking? Because let's face it, the more that we learn about all these little shortcuts, the more proficient an editor we will become. But enough jibber jabber for now, Shane. In the words of my favorite Brazilian YouTuber, let's do it. If you know sous vide everything, then you know what I'm talking about. Almost all.
Let's do it.
Let's be honest, it's easy to get lost in a timeline while we're doing the editing. Quickly get your bearings with a bird's eye view of your sequence with one finger and one button. Backslash. Boom, done. Game over. Premiere Pro's interface can sometimes feel a little bit cluttered because there's a lot going on. If you use the tilde key, then Premiere has this fun, amazing little function where it will maximize whatever panel your mouse is hovering over to full screen. Tip number 3 actually kind of goes on from there. If you want to go full screen sans the panel, you can do that while holding the control button and then pressing the tilde key. And it works with both the source and the program monitors. The difference is that with this tip, you actually have to have the panel selected in order for it to work. If you've ever worked on a project for any length of time, then you can end up with multiple tracks that you're just not using. So we can clean up the mess by deleting empty tracks. Just control or right click on the track header and then select delete tracks. And once that dialog box opens up, then you can either delete individual tracks or just the empty ones. Think about it. You've got your timeline, you've got heaps and heaps of clips, and they're just random video file names. Well, what we can do is actually right click and choose rename, hit enter to save it, and hey presto, we actually have a bit more of an identifiable name in the timeline, which is really helpful because it is just in the timeline and not in the project itself. You're not renaming the original file. You've gone ahead, you've renamed the clips in your timeline, but now you want to find the original file in the project panel. This one's really easy. You right click on the clip and then close to the very bottom of all of the options that you have available to you, you just say reveal in project, and that's what happens. Your project panel pops up and the file that you've just asked to see gets highlighted. Imagine that you need to get to a specific time in your timeline. Most of us, especially when we're just starting, will scrub through that timeline until we get to where we need to go. We can actually jump to a specific spot, and the way that you do it is simply by manually typing in the time in the time code display and then hitting enter, and then the playhead jumps forward to that specific spot. It really is a great tool. If you've used Premiere for a little while and you know about keyframes and how to use them to manipulate all of the different kind of attributes and effects that you're using, then if you're like me, you've been making those changes with the keyframes in the effects control panel itself. And that's where you should be doing it. But did you know that you can actually work on them straight in the timeline as well? Right? To view keyframes of the different attributes in the timeline, it's really simple. Click on the effects badge of the clip and then select the attribute that you want to have a look at, and it will show you all of the keyframes that are there. I mean, wow. Wow. Let's say that you want to do a simple rearrange edit. You just press the Alt key while performing an insert edit. And that edit simply rearranges the two clips that you're manipulating without shifting all of the other clips kind of further on down the timeline. It just deals with the two clips that are side by side. If you made it this far, it's tip number 10, and so I'm going to give you the big kahuna. This one is kind of like the nuclear launch codes when it comes to Premiere Pro tips. Sometimes Premiere can become unresponsive. If you've used it for a little while, then you've probably come across it, and if you're just getting into it, just be aware that sometimes it happens. And so resetting the program to its default settings kind of helps to get things on track again. And so this tip is something of a nuclear response. When we reset the preferences, it doesn't only restore the default preference settings, it will actually undo pretty much all of your customizations. If you've moved bits and pieces around to make it work just so for you, just be aware that pretty much all of that's going to go out the window as well. It's pretty much doing a factory restore. And so to reset preferences, to use this tip, you just need to hold the Alt key down when you're launching Premiere. And then when the splash screen appears, you release it, and it does that all in the background. And so with these tips and tricks, I have no doubt at all that your Premiere Pro workflow is going to continue to improve. But if you think that these tips have been helpful today, then why not give today's video a big old thumbs up down below? And if you think that the rest of my channel's content might be of interest to you as well, then consider subscribing to the channel today by clicking on the big red subscribe button down below. And if you click on the notification bell right alongside that, you'll join the notification squad with YouTube, letting you know as soon as my latest content has dropped week to week. And on that note, I am all done for today. I hope that you have a fun weekend planned and that the week ahead is looking like it's going to be a good one, and that I will see you around for my next video. Have a great week, guys. Bye.
That's gonna leave a mark.
What?